9 questions that will change the way you work. Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian from Mindful Marketplace, and welcome back to our short series of presentations on our new publishing platform we're calling Blurt, the Idea Incubator and Brand Accelerator for enlightened entrepreneurs with a need for speed. Okay, so in this presentation, we're going to go through a really short series of what I call empowering questions. These are little ways in which to interact with your ideas that, in my experience, really help to foster innovation and creativity, and kind of are the antidote to kind of getting stuck and writer's block and sort of just getting distracted and letting your inspired ideas get old alone. So the first couple of these are really simple and straightforward. What would make this easy? That's question number one. So there always are ways in which to simplify and to reduce friction points and to really kind of sort of tamp down your enthusiasm and excitement for kind of going wide and kind of layering on too many things into an idea and just simplifying it so that it's as easy as possible rather than overly complex and complicated. And that's generally where I find my own ideas sort of go into the ditch or end up dying because I try to incorporate too many things. We cover this in a little bit more detail in a little bit. But what would make this easy? Question number one. Question number two, and this is something that so many of us, myself included, are really guilty of neglecting. What would make this fun, right? I mean, anything that you're aspiring to do in the world from an entrepreneurial standpoint, on some level, should be enjoyable. It should be fun. And when you forget to make the things that you're working on fun, it makes it easy for them to get stale and sort of decrepit and kind of they become a weight on you rather than a source of joy. And I've certainly been guilty of this far too many times, myself, that has really torpedoed or put the kibosh on otherwise, great ideas or things I really wanted to work on because I didn't inject any joy into them or didn't make them fun in some way. That could also be, by the way, with the folks that you're working with, right? If the people that you're engaging with in an entrepreneurial sense don't make you happy or you sense that you're going to be successful but have conflicts, it's just not worth it, in my view, to kind of go ahead. So ask yourself what would make this fun, and then ultimately, step number three or question number three, avoid feature creep, right? And this can actually be a part of number two. You want to remove things that are not going to add a level of enjoyment. So minimum viable, maximum valuable, right? So 3A might be what can I remove that won't affect the outcome but will delay my launch or is slowing me down right now. So there are always things that and again, this harkens back to the first point, what would make this easy? There are always things that we add into the equation or into the recipe that ultimately bog us down or make we try to get too cute by half and choreograph these incredibly well designed ideas that really are just kind of like layered upon layered upon layered sort of difficulties or unnecessary complexities. There's that great Mike Tyson quote, I'm going to paraphrase it and probably get it wrong, where he says everyone has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. And that's really quite true in my experience. So avoid feature creep. Number four, what can go right? Right? And it's amazing to me how few of the entrepreneurs or the authors, teachers, coaches, the folks that I interact with most often and myself as well, like how infrequently I ask the question, what can go right? So it's truly amazing how much magic and momentum and mojo you can create when you can see if things just go exactly as planned, how much different your life looks when you have a passion or purpose project alive, awake, and activated in the world. It doesn't have to go perfectly, and it doesn't have to go well beyond your wildest dreams. Things just have to go right. And if you ask yourself, if I write this book and things, what could go right if I write the book? Well, I could get a lot of fans, a bigger audience, more professional prestige. I could get more industry gravitas. I could be proud of myself. I could feel good about my work. I could feel like I've accomplished an important item on my bucket list, etc., etc. So that's really important. What could go right? All right, number 5, where is the win? And for yourself, see above, right? But also for your audience. Like, where is the win for them? And I think it's really important to identify where your quintessential client or your ideal audience actually improves in some way by dint of having your influence in their lives, right? So, know what the win looks like before you begin, and then reverse engineer your content, your course, your coaching, your community, etc., to ensure you deliver a rock star result, or what we call in our publishing platform a transformational trigger, right? Or a transformational turnstile, something, a rock star result where your audience actually comes out the other side different from how they came in. All right. Number 7, I think this is a quote from Neil Gaiman, the prolific author and who wrote a whole series of really popular books. Very smart guy. I'm paraphrasing this, but he essentially, his advice to new authors and teachers and creatives is to map your mountain. And again, this is in quotes, but this is really my paraphrasing of his life philosophy, which is when you're doing the work that moves you closer to the mountain, you're on the right path. So if you have a visual kind of flag that tells you you're moving towards your mountain, what that looks like. When you're doing work that moves you away from the mountain or keeps you kind of stuck in place, you can identify that you're on the wrong track, and you simply need to reconfigure your compass and get back on the trail, right? Really, really simple to understand. And it's something that for me, from a visual standpoint, is very helpful. I can look at the work I'm doing and say, is this moving me closer to my goal? Is this moving me further away from my goal? Or is this kind of keeping me kind of, standing in one spot? All right, so number 7, this is number 7. What has historically distracted you, right? This is very important for so many of us when the full menu of entrepreneurial opportunities are always on offer for us, right? So there's always something else to like kind of learn or do or research or try. And this is just a grand scam, right? You're just scamming yourself by dint of allowing yourself to be distracted. And in my case, my distractions are typically Wolf Blitzer shouting "breaking now" from the TV in the other room, which I've learned the hard way is usually news that isn't breaking now and isn't going to hurt the skip. Obviously, I'm being a little facetious and trying to be funny there, but whatever it is that distracts you, remove from the equation. For me, turning off the TV in the background was a huge lever in my own productivity experience, right? Because for many years, I would have CNN or whatever the news station was always on in the background, and it would be distracting. And I would find myself getting much less stuff done at the end of the day than I had planned. And again, that was by virtue of having, these kind of omnipresent distractions in full view all the time. All right, so what has knocked you off of your game or off of your goals? Where do you procrastinate? What are your triggers? And just be mindful of where you've tripped up in the past. This is really instructive for not making the same mistakes now. Don't go down the rabbit hole. Fierce focus, right? Be very, very focused. And I also recommend finite focus, right? Have very specific goals that you're getting done in a given block of time rather than just like random focus, right? No online gurus, gimmicks, or bright and shiny objects. That should go without saying. All right. Now we're getting into the more philosophical questions. I believe there's only 2 more because this is 8 and there's only 9 of these. So ask your future self, what will it cost me? And this is really an important question in so many areas of our lives, in our relationships, in certainly in our work. If you don't do what you love or share your gifts, or you don't show up in a way that empowers you, like if you're not inspired and you're not feeling alive right now by virtue of what you're doing with your work, while the opportunity is available, while you're young, or while you're able, or while your cognitive functionality is where it is right now. And I ask myself, if I don't do this thing, what is it going to cost me when I'm 80 and I'm looking back at my life and I'm saying, I'm unable to do these things now, and I wish I had. Like, what does that feel like? And when I actually, apply that sort of heuristic to my thinking, it allows me to kind of think about what I'm doing today when everything is good, when I'm fully aware, when my mind is bright and sharp and my communication skills are strong, and I'm able to contribute in the way that I feel is most worthy of my gifts. So ask yourself that same question and really process that through some sort of, you know, you know, filter that allows you to truly, get clear on what you want to do with your work life. All right, this ultimately focuses me, and it keeps me coming back to the present moment and saying, in this period of time, in this day, in this moment, in this block of time, I'm going to continue to work towards this ideal, the contribution that I ultimately truly feel I'm capable of, and would feel terrible later on if I never had accomplished. All right, so number 9, and this is a little bit of woo, but it's true, and I'm not trying to rhyme. What does the universe want to do through you? This is a really, really important question for me. And even though I'm not a believer in all things New Age, or even though I don't necessarily believe that the universe, in quotes, knows me at all, but what I do believe is that we all have unique gifts and talents and abilities and experiences that can serve others, that can help, heal, shape, serve, and offer hope to others. And these experiences or gifts or skills are honed through the prism of your own, like where you've been, what you've touched, what you've tasted, what do you know, even if it's been a hard road to get to where you are right now, that allows you to offer others the ability to overcome the same obstacles, or glean an inspirational insight that only you can offer. If you believe that the world wants to do work through you, right, that your unique presence in the world is, I don't want to get too sort of philosophical here, so let's just leave it with this. I believe that we all have these unique experiences, that whether you think it's dharma, karma, whether you think it's the cosmos, whether you think it's God, whether you think it's just the dumb nature of evolutionary biology. We are all here in this moment with our own unique fingerprint, our own unique experiences, and we each have the ability to offer, really to offer our unique gifts through that lens into the world to people who don't have the unique experiences that we have, that haven't touched the same things or tasted the same things or fallen in the same spots, right? Your mess can be your message. Where you've failed or fallen, your frailties, your phobias, your fears, these can all be amazing instruments of service that the universe, in its spirit of service, can only offer uniquely through the lens of your appearing in the world, right? So ultimately, what we really want to do is offer those of you who want to teach or create or express or emote or really do what you love in the service of waking up the world with your work, the opportunity to do so across our platform. We have some really exciting opportunities in September and October for folks in the mindfulness, meditation, personal growth, spiritual development, and enlightened entrepreneurialism niches, markets, industries. If you truly want to wake up the world with your work and do meaningful work that makes a meaningful difference in the lives of others, I invite you to come check out our platform. We have uh, just a ton of different things that you can do with us. We have fee-based programs, but we also have free trainings and free community programs for those of you who are just kind of getting started on the path. And if any of this makes sense or resonates with you, I invite you to to come join us, right? So if you're watching this in our community, just click on this button here. It'll take you to a landing page where you can sign up for some of the things we have coming in September. Or if you're not, you're watching this somewhere like YouTube or otherwise, just send an email, mindfulmarketplace@gmail.com, or you can or you can just connect with me on Twitter, which is @Ian Hollander, and I'm happy to help. Teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. Hope you found this somewhat helpful or thought provoking, and I hope to see all of you on the other side. Thanks.